Well, after 19 or on the 19th one of these speeches, you would think that I've given you some ideas about how to do your presentations online. Just in case, though, you still haven't figured it out, we're going to take a couple of tips from Dr. Stephen Lucas's The Art of Public Speaking, 13th edition. Let's see what Dr. Lucas has to say about presenting online. When you're in the online environment, the elements of the internet that influence the online speech are different from other speeches. This includes the remote audience, factors of technology, and forms of interference are different, as well as a few other things. There is a special nature of speaking in an online environment. There's a distinct relationship with the audience. In fact, right now, I kind of have to pretend that you're there. I know, it's weird, but I do. Because, really, I'm just talking to myself in my basement. And sometimes my dog comes down to listen. There are also different dimensions of the speech communication process. Remember way back when in chapter 1 we talked about the speech communication process? That's right. There was an interaction between sender and receiver, which doesn't happen so much in the online environment. There was also a channel through which the message went. Same thing here. The channel is different. It's not really face-to-face, but it kind of is. During the COVID-19 crisis or pandemic, whatever you'd like to refer to it as, a lot of presentations and a lot of classrooms, etc., moved online. So let's take a look at the kind of online speeches. There are recorded online speeches, which is what I've been doing for you, and then there are real-time online speeches, the ones that I was talking about that are happening in classrooms with numerous sorts of technology, including GoToMeeting, Zoom, I believe Doxy is another one, but there are plenty of them out there. A recorded online speech is delivered, recorded, and uploaded to the internet. Boom. That's what I'm doing. They're used in blended and online courses. I hope so. They are similar to in-class speeches if you are giving a speech online. And examples of these are probably TED Talks. Maybe someday I'll give a TED Talk. I was invited to do that once. I just didn't do it. Why? Well, I lived in North Dakota at the time, and the weather was not so good. Usually, real-time online speeches are delivered with special software. WebEx was a program that I used at one of the schools that I taught at. In fact, I taught my students in class and online at the same time using WebEx software. The remote audience can be gathered for live viewing. An example of this might be an online job interview. Guess what? I've done online job interviews before too. In fact, I did one while I was on a study abroad trip with my students in Cape Town, South Africa. I was interviewing with some people in Colorado. Imagine that. Makes the world kind of small when you have online speaking. Some online speaking guidelines. You want to control the visual environment. As you've seen, I don't want you to see everything in my house, so we're here in my basement studio. You want to adapt nonverbal communication and adjust your pacing. Remember that there really is an audience and you're not really talking to yourself. And be sure to practice. In other words, prepare ahead of time. I have definitely been preparing for these speeches or teaching or whatever for a little while, 20 years. Yes, I've been teaching communication courses for 20 years, starting this fall. Whew, that is a long time. The visual environment. On-screen elements seen by the audience during the speech. Yep. I only want you to see certain things. Elements of the visual environment. Make sure you have good setting, lighting, framing, eye contact, and personal appearance. Yes, I have thought about all of these elements, but it sure would be nice to have a videographer down here. It would be nice to have a hairstylist, a fashion consultant, a makeup artist, and then someone to take care of all this lighting and stuff. I don't have that. So hopefully this works for you. Effective framing. Ineffective, up close and personal. This is like that talking head you've seen in some classes. Ineffective is way too far away so that, well, they can't even see you. More effective is this, without all the white space. Well, I've given you the best that I can. Like I said, no videographers here. Effective eye contact. I have been talking to my camera most of the time, so I hope that's working. Ineffective and more effective are the elements of the visual. As you notice, the window here makes it not easy to see the person. This is more effective. Again, I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm in my basement because there aren't any windows down here. Adapt your nonverbal communication. Use well-planned, deliberate gestures. I gesture all the time. Use controlled, confident eye movements. That's what I'm doing. Adjust your pacing. Alter what appears on screen with visual aids. Use a brisk tempo akin to other online content. In other words, don't talk forever and ever and ever and post videos that are longer than long because, trust me, nobody's going to pay attention to them, even if you're as entertaining as I am. Adapt effectively to the remote audience when you're remembering the audience. Engage in a mental dialogue with them and keep in public speaking. Yes, if you are going to be recording a speech for public, remember, the public is still out there. Even if you're uploading this online, there is still a public. It's even nicer if you can have some people in your audience. Makes making that eye contact a lot easier. And plus, they can applaud when you're done. When you're practicing recorded speeches, gauge what the audience will see and record and review through practice sessions. This will allow you to see what the audience is going to see. You want to practice real-time speeches. Practice with a computer, using the software that you're going to use. Use a screen recording function, and update your software and operating systems as often as possible. Time out. It is time for Dr. Heidi's public service announcement. If you are doing online speaking or online classes, please shut down and restart your computer regularly. If you are going to use your phone as the recording device, turn off your phone and turn it back on regularly. This allows the software to work either on the computer or on an iPad or on your phone, smartphone, much easier. So shut down and restart. It will make things work a lot better for the instructor, for you as the speaker, for you as the student, you name it. Things are going to work a lot more smoothly if you shut down and restart computers at least every once in a while. Once every 2 weeks is not often enough. If you're finding that the programs on your computer and on your phone don't work the way that they're supposed to, try turning it off and turning it back on. I bet you it'll work a whole lot better. Time back in. PSA is done. PSA, public service announcement. Technology of real-time speeches. Select the software that is appropriate for the speech, the audience, and the occasion. One of the schools that I teach at requires students to use GoReact. Other schools that I've taught at have people using part of Blackboard or the other learning management systems. And some aren't prepared at all, and so I've had my students record and upload to YouTube. Yes, I understand and know that YouTube is a very public forum. So you have ways that you can make the speeches a little less public You can also delete the speeches after they've been graded. And you can use pseudonyms so that people that don't know you will have more difficulty finding you. Just make sure you tell your instructor where to find the speech. And also master the software program that you're going to be using. Have a backup plan. Distribute online. Move to a conference call. Share via document collaboration program. Example would be Google Docs. Move to a recorded format or reschedule. Sometimes things don't work out, so have a backup plan. And then, as we understand, at the end of Dr. Lucas's PowerPoint, he usually has a sample speech. I hope this gives you an idea of what it's like to present online. I also hope that you've been paying attention for the last 19 chapters and know a little bit about what it's like for me to present online.